back to the Sarge's Box Talk. I was on a little hiatus, and I don't know why, because I had so much to gloat about with my previous picks. You know, David Haye, Enzo Maccarinelli, and Oleg Miskayev against Samuel Peter. I picked Peter to win by knockout in 6. It happened, didn't it? You know, I apologize for the pick for David Haye. He did knock out Enzo in the 2nd round instead of the 3rd like I predicted, but hey, you win some, you lose some, right? So I'm pretty happy with my picks, to be honest with you. Now, some previous fights that we had these last week or so was the 2004 Olympic gold medalist for the U.S., Andre Ward. This guy's a lot of fun to watch if no one's seen him. Very good fighter, can fight from the southpaw stance, from the orthodox, really good switching it up, and great boxer. He finally stepped up his competition a little bit in his 16th fight, fighting Ruben Williams. The fight was stopped in the 7th round due to a cut, but Andre Ward looked great, and he's definitely looking for better and brighter things. So we're looking forward to seeing him stepping up to better competition and maybe fighting for a world title, maybe the end of this year into next year, but great fight by him. The fight that killed me was Joel Casamayor against Michael Katsidis. Casamayor won this fight by a 10th round knockout. It pained me because I never wanted to talk about Casamayor anymore. The dirty, low down, don't like the guy. But we're going to have to keep talking about him because he is the true champion. He did score a knockout. Katsidis looked great after a shaky 1st round getting knocked down. He looked like he was in control of the fight, had Casamayor hurt and knocked down in round number 7, 6 or 7. And then he got caught in the 10th round. So I hope to see Katsidis right back again. I hope we see a rematch of this fight, actually. Katsidis, I think, will be a lot smarter and take Casamayor out, but we got to keep talking about Casamayor, unfortunately. I was hoping this would be it. But, and then, of course, the marquee fight. I mean, what a time it is to be a boxing fan. You know, you had Marquez and Vasquez like a few weeks ago, and then you just had Marquez's older brother, Juan Manuel Marquez, fighting Manny Pacquiao. Great fights. I mean, what a time it is to be a boxing fan. And if you're not a boxing fan and watching this, now's the time to tune in to boxing because there are so many great fights to watch. You don't want to miss them. So the upcoming fights, there's not a whole lot of big ones. You got Corey Spinks taking on Verno Phillips. Verno Phillips is one of those guys that's getting better with age, but I think he's kind of coming to the end of the road. Great fighter on the inside, but I think Spinks is going to keep it on the outside, and boring decision for Spinks. But that's pretty much the biggest fight that's going on this upcoming weekend. There is the fight from Kasim Uma against Cornelius Bundridge K9, the dog. One of those contender fighters. I don't think I need to say much more about the contender fighters, but Bundridge is just going to get outclassed, and this is going to be another easy decision for Uma. I think he's looking to fight for a title here soon, so this is kind of his road back to a title shot. And Arthur Abraham is going to be taking on Elvin Ayala. Yeah, that's right, Elvin Ayala, the guy that fought Sergio Mora to a draw. Yeah, you know, the contender champion, Sergio Mora. If you want to see what's going to happen to Sergio Mora whenever he decides to take a step up in class and fight some actually good name, maybe champion fighters, tune into this fight and see Ayala get crushed, and that's exactly what's going to happen to the true contender champion, Sergio Mora. So, it should be pretty entertaining. But, those are about the only 3 real marquee fights, I guess you could say, coming up this week. So I have Spinks in the easy decision over Verno Phillips, boring decision. Uma with the easy decision over Bundridge, and then Abraham crushing Ayala. I'll even be generous and say in 4 rounds once Abraham catches him. So those are my picks for this week. So if you want to write those down again as well, go ahead, because they are going to be solid picks. Now my dishonorable discharge this week goes to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. One of the best, probably the best Mexican fighter was his dad. And now Junior, his management and promoters are now living off Daddy's name. Many people outside of the hardcore boxing fans don't even know that he's a fighter, that he is fighting. They know of Chavez, but not the son. And that's because they're still living off Daddy's name. He's 22 years old. He's fought 36 times. He's 35-0 and 1 with 1 draw. And no one has heard anything of him. He is on pay-per-view cards. Why people are buying these fights, I have no idea. No knock on him because he may be a great fighter, but it's time to be your own man. To give you an idea, 36 fights is more than the world champion Miguel Cotto. It's more fights than Kelly Pavlik's had in his career. It's almost as many fights as Mayweather, and right up next to Calzaghe. So, and he's 22 years old. Never even fought for a world title. Oh wait, I guess his last fight against, the well-renowned Jose Celaya, yeah, for the WBC Continental Americas Light Middleweight Championship, huh? What is going on with Chavez Jr.? It's time to stop living off Daddy's name. And I don't know if it's so much his fault as it is his management and promoters just trying to rake in the money. It looks like they're doing a pretty good job if he's still on pay-per-view. But I am not going to pay to watch this guy fight. It's time that he shows the world, and it shows the boxing world especially, that he is his own man and that he can fight and contend for a world title. I'm ready to watch it. I'm ready to see it. But until then, it's time to stop living off Daddy's name, and it's time for you to stop raking in the money off Daddy's name. 36 fights at the age of 22. Obviously, you're not fighting very good opponents because you wouldn't be fighting that often. So, pretty sad. So that's my dishonorable discharge. I hate to bash the kid because he's 22. Probably got a bright future, but I want to see him be his own man and start fighting in the real boxing world. Let's see it. It's time. I got a quote this week that I couldn't pass up that came from Joan Guzman when he has his upcoming fight against Alex Arthur. This is great. Okay? He's quoted as saying, "I'm going to show him that I'm the best pound-for-pound fighter in this division." The best pound-for-pound fighter in this division. I tried to make sense of that, put 2 and 2 together. It just didn't add up, right? The only thing that made it make any sense at all to me and made it fit was his nickname. He calls himself the Little Tyson. Hey, I don't make this stuff up. I just let you know. I just feed the information. But a perfect quote. And that's all I got for this show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please send me your emails and comments. I want to hear from you, and I want to get some of that verbal sparring in. So let's hear it. You definitely want to tune into the next Sarge's Box Talk, because I'm going to talk about why Miguel Cotto, in my book, is the pound-for-pound best fighter in boxing today, and why Oscar De La Hoya is the most overrated boxer of our generation. So you definitely want to tune in for that. And until next time, you are dismissed.